Hello and welcome to Coworld, the first of two programs where we'll be discussing sustainability in livestock farming, with today's focus on energy transition and its relevance to sustainable farming. We're fortunate to be joined today by two panel members from two different countries. They are Lucy Britton from the UK and Riccardo Contarelli from Argentina. We'll now meet the panel members. Lucy, you are a Limousin and Angus cattle farmer in the Creuse with your husband Matthew. You've recently started writing a blog on Substack called Farming in France. And you're also active on Instagram and Facebook. A couple of questions for you. Why did you quit the UK for France?
Our move to France happened in 2019, and really for us it was a head and heart thing. We love France. We came to France on a regular basis, brought our children here on holiday. Matthew was farming in the UK, I was not, and we wanted to be able to do something together. And that was much more feasible in France. In the UK, it becoming much, much harder to do. So that was really what forced our transition to here.
So the idea behind it was of a family project, where the pair of you could actually work together and be with each other every day.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very much a family farm. That was what the focus was for us.
Whereas perhaps in the UK, it wasn't viable enough for both of you to be working on the farm. One of you had to be off the farm, earning an income to support the farmer as such.
Exactly, yeah. It's just getting enough income into a farm in the UK to maintain a family, I think now is fairly much impossible.
I think you're probably quite right, yeah. And a second question for you. What are the advantages of farming in France? Obviously economic, we've just spoken about it, but there must be other advantages too.
There's the economic advantages. For us, that we've been able to purchase a farm here, which would be completely unthinkable in the UK. Land prices have just got astronomical. And also the weather is a massive, not so much this year, but generally is a massive player in it. Farming here is, on the whole, so much easier than in the UK because you're not fighting against the weather all the time. Okay,
so really a family project, and really the weather conditions are what a real one of the advantages of farming here.
Absolutely, yeah. And it also, being in a position where we could purchase our own farm, made it more viable for our daughter to then be able to join us later on if that's what she desires.
So there we're talking about sustainability, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Riccardo, I'm now going to a couple of questions for you, if I might. You are a Hereford, Angus and Shorthorn breeder, but not all together. You have an Angus herd, you have a Hereford herd, and you have a Shorthorn herd. And they're all pedigree. Is that right?
Just right.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. You have 100 head in total, 100 head of livestock, and you farm on 200 hectares.
Yes, more than 100 cows, mothers, a lot of donors for embryos program, but okay. Yes, that's in Argentina, that quantity is not so big, you know, we have big ranches.
We could call you really a small farmer.
Yes, in Argentina, too small.
Small for Argentina, perhaps not here.
Yes.
And you, if I'm right, you're about 700 kilometers south of Buenos Aires, is that right?
Yes, in the south direction, near North Patagonian region.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, excellent. A couple of questions for you, if I might. Why do you farm Hereford and Angus cattle?
It's a family tradition, but I think it's a business, it's a long-term business. So I think our family, it was always working in an efficiency program for sustainable, and also the British in Argentina, now in Spain, because we have also a little genetic project right now in Spain, but the British breeds were perfect for our kind of country, weather, and that things. Right now also we work in some cross direction with Limousin cows. So I think we speak the same language with the lady.
Well, exactly, because you're both, well, Lucy, as you've heard, she's an Angus and Limousin breeder, and you're an Angus and Hereford breeder. So yeah, there's a lot of synergy between you, so it's good. The second question I have for you, I think you said to me also, you said that you have the oldest prefix, perhaps in Argentina, maybe even in the world?
No, I don't know in the world. Maybe in UK can be older, but right now in Argentina, our Hereford prefix is in activity is the oldest one, 108 years,
Well,
non-stop.
so that's a fine example of sustainability in farming.
I think so.
I think you're right.
so.
Yeah, I think so too. Second question for you, and this is really sort of geared around the SOMMET, and I'm not just asking because the SOMMET's organisers are perhaps watching, but what does the SOMMET have, the SOMMET de L'ELEVAGE have, that you don't have in Argentina?
For example, this press, this kind of press that is very near to the people, to the young people, and with future. And for example, what we are hearing here, the bells sounding with the Salers cows or every French breeds, but you have some things different, and you know, for us always different is like something new, and we like so much the country, and SOMMET is the big event in Europe.
So there's a mix of nostalgia and something modern.
Just a tango is, you know,
Okay.
it's tango and beef.
Okay, right. We'll now move on, and we'll now start talking and talking about the subject of today. Okay, so I've got a few questions for you, and the idea is for you guys to be discussing between you and me, and giving me your answers and how you feel about the situation. My first question for you, the first question for the panel today is, what do you understand by sustainable livestock farming? And my first question is to Ricardo, to start with.
I think we must work like in the past years, but only hearing the new markets and the young people and the future and you know, the carbon matters and that. But the solution is the grasp efficiency production to to come back some years or some decades. And also we must teach a lot the citizen people, but with respect, and we need a lot of young people in our business, and maybe the burger, you know, like McDonald's, but with more quality. That's the kind of tool to young people be more close.
Okay. So, and it'd be music to the ears of farmers here in the Massif Central, but for you, grazing and livestock are one and the same thing. They're synonymous. And I think in 2026, the United Nations has declared 2026 as the year of pastoralism. So that'll be fascinating. I know that SOMMET de L'ELEVAGE is gearing up for that. And you also mentioned about young farmers coming in. You also mentioned, I think that's relevant too, is communication with people who live in urban areas, because they don't understand what farming is about. And I think it's important, and I think it's the way, one of the reasons and one of the ways we need to move forward. Lucy, if I can just sort of, move on to you, and as far as that question is concerned, anything you want to say about what Ricardo has said, or anything you want to add yourself?
Yeah, no, just that I completely agree. I think as culturally, we've really moved away from farming production and from food production. I think actually the sustainability of farming is really going to come down to the entire population re-engaging with where their food actually comes from and what it is. It's, that disengagement's not doing anyone any favours.
I think we've got a few photos of your farm, Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, there we go. Good. Okay, so sustainable farming is really bringing in the young farmers, communication, and it's also optimizing the grassland. The second question, I'll ask Lucy this time. In a perfect world, what do you see as being crucial to the long-term sustainability of livestock farming, either on your farm or in your country? And by that I mean technical support, government policy, innovation or infrastructure. So once again, what in a perfect world, what do you see as being crucial to the long-term sustainability of livestock farming? In your case, on your farm.
I think what you said there about government policy is really important, actually. Having come from the UK, I've seen firsthand what it's like for governments to start almost actively working against their farming industry, and it's really unhealthy. So from our point of view, for farming in France, having the government on our side, which much more so here than in the UK, is prevalent, is really important and needs to be sustained.
I think that would be music to the ears of the incoming Prime Minister. And I was talking to some people in the Ministry of Agriculture here in France earlier this morning, and they were saying to me that on average there are between 5,000 and 6,000 young farmers who set up every year and receive grants to set up. So what they're doing is they're proving the fact that they have sufficient agricultural qualifications and they know what they're doing. And then based on their project, they get a grant of somewhere between 25,000 and 50,000 euros. So, you know, that's important. And as Lucy said, the fact that central government here is encouraging farmers to set up and carry on either and take on farms that are being farmed by somebody else or taking on their own family farm, again, is vital for the long-term sustainability of farming. And as she said, in the UK, sadly, that's not the case because there the government are actively working against farmers. How about you, Ricardo, in Argentina? What's the sort of feeling there? You know, what would be the perfect? What's crucial to the long-term sustainability of livestock farming in Argentina?
I understand. Normally in South America, not only Argentina, we are like some years. We have some difference with the problems, with the European problems, but we are very near with that situation. Our governments, you know, we have a lot of corruptions and another kind of problems. In my opinion, the best thing is innovation. I think we will increase and be better farmers with learning more and investigate more investigation about feed efficiency. Normally, I don't like, or we don't like a lot of help, of money, directly help. I think at least it's a matter, it's not the solution. Like in Spain, I'm working in Spain, and every farmer is asking every day, they are talking about the PAC, the help, the government help, and I'm fighting with them saying, no, first you must talk about more production, better production, more ecological production, and that's our view.
So we got two very different views here. We've got someone from South America who is basically in a free market where there isn't any kind of government support. And here you have Lucy, who came from the UK, which really, let's be honest, free market, there's very little government support, to be honest, and it hasn't been for a very long time, and if I might say, possibly even since Margaret Thatcher, but I didn't say that. And Lucy's saying, well, she very much needs this help here. And Ricardo was talking about the PAC in Spain. In other words, that's the Common Agricultural Policy, and he works a lot with Spanish farmers, and they need help from the Common Agricultural Policy, from Brussels, to be viable. And I think if I'm right in saying that here in France, 60% of farmers' income actually comes from subsidies, annual subsidies. So without them, farmers wouldn't be viable, and we'd end up either with vast amount of territory that wouldn't be farmed properly and therefore wouldn't be grazed, and therefore we would have a problem with fires and other issues like that. Or there would be enormous combines, and I mean a combine, a big society, a big company, operating the whole operation, and maybe with share farmers at a more local level. I don't know, but that's something, you know, so we've got two very different views here. We've got the free market and we've got the European market. But still, obviously, the two work together, and each has their advantages and each has their disadvantages. Third question, how can farmers use and benefit from energy transition? And I'll ask Lucy first.
Well, it's a bit of a difficult question for me. I think the implementation of solar is, we're seeing it across the countryside more and more. You see more and more solar barns going up. As things stand at the moment, I know there are steps being made towards getting farming away from fossil-fuelled vehicles, but as it stands at the moment, there's not really a viable solution for that. So for farming to really enter into sort of effective energy transition, for me, I think we're looking at we need to be implementing more solar buildings to be able to feed back into the need for electricity within our countries, and also to make farms themselves a bit more energy efficient independently.
And obviously that's a secondary income for farmers.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, maybe we might get away from the subsidies.
Yeah.
Who knows? Ricardo, same question. How can farmers use and benefit from energy transition?
I agree with she, with Lucy. Normally in Spain, that I'm working right now there, also in Argentina, but always there we are in the past. But I think it's an extra income, all about energies, solar energy or wind energies with mills. It's an honest show, an honest way to have an extra income, but we must not forget that we are farmers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at this, all the cows. This is the nice of the live. This is a show, a live interview, and that's the matter. Things happens, and we must be alert. And the energy is a very good way to have more profit.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one last question, and because we're short of time, I'm going to ask for a one-word answer. Is that possible? A one-word answer. What, in your opinion, Ricardo? What, in your opinion, is the biggest obstacle to sustainability in farming? What is the biggest obstacle to sustainability in farming?
Feed. Not grains, not a lot of grains, more grass, more common sense.
Okay. And Lucy?
Intensification.
Okay. Understood. So I think we've covered those points today. And unfortunately, we've come to the end of our first of these two Coworld discussion groups. We've covered a lot of subjects today. You've heard what they are. I don't think I need to cover them again. I'd like to thank both of my guests, so starting with Lucy, who didn't come that far, and Ricardo, who came from a very long way, but he's also, if you're interested, judging the Angus and the Hereford cattle tomorrow. So also thanks to my producer, Leah Rossignol, and the technical staff. I hope that you have enjoyed this first Coworld discussion. We're back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for a second program. The SOMMET DE L'ELEVAGE runs until this Friday, the 4th of October. And I just want to leave you with one thought. No farmers, no food, no future. Thank you and goodbye.